Good evening and welcome to our English news. Prime Minister Jotham Napat says that any politician or public servant found through an investigation to have been involved in corruption will face the full force of the law. His statement comes as the Public Accounts Committee, OPAC, continues its investigation into the 180 million VATU Value Addition Investment Capital Fund. Questions about how the beneficiaries of the 180 million VATU Value Addition Investment Capital Fund were selected first arose last month when MB Marcelino Padelemi raised the issue during a public hearing held by the Parliamentary Committee on Economic and Foreign Policy. This month, the Public Accounts Committee held a public hearing with the Fund's Steering Committee and raised several concerns about the administration of the fund. The PAC found that the fund was not publicly advertised. Only 11 out of 19 applications proceeded to assessment by the Fund Screening Committee. No site inspections were conducted to verify projects before funding was approved. PAC member Andrew Wilper Napat said that the committee found that some recipients who had received funding had not yet started any project. However, the chairman of the Board of Governors for the 2025 Value Addition Investment Capital Fund, Joe Lico, said it is too early to conclude the public money has been lost. He said the funds were only released at the end of last year, and the board is confident the fund will achieve its objective of helping Vanuatu businesses grow. The PAC's investigation is continuing, and next month the committee will hold another public hearing with the Board of Governors as part of its inquiry. In his statement this week, Prime Minister Jotham Napat said the government will wait for the PAC to complete its inquiry and submit its report to Parliament, where it will be debated. However, he made it clear that the government will not tolerate corruption and that any politician or public servant found by investigations and the legal process to have engaged in illegal practices will face the full force of law. Prime Minister also acknowledged the important role of the Public Accounts Committee in scrutinizing how public funds are used. He said the committee's findings will be presented to Parliament for debate. There is already information indicating that the opposition intends to file a police report. More than 215,000 business transactions have been recorded on the new Vanuatu Sales Monitoring System, or VSMS. Following the establishment and official launch of the Vanuatu Sales Monitoring System, or VSMS, by the Department of Customs and Inland Revenue last month, many taxpayers classified as very large and large businesses have successfully transitioned into the system beginning in June. The Director of Customs and Inland Revenue, Harold Tarosa, said that businesses in these categories were the first to be targeted for integration into the system. The system is designed to monitor the real-time scales transactions of taxpayers' businesses registered under the Vanuatu Financial Services Commission, or VBTC, by integrating their point-of-scales data directly into the sales monitoring system. Since June last month up to today, the VSMS has recorded more than 215,000 transactions from 141 businesses operating in Sheva province that were now connected to the system. During his visit to the system this week, Minister of Finance Johnny Kwanapo said he is confident that the system provides an effective way to monitor business point-of-scales transaction and ensure transparency in the collection of the 15% value-added tax or VAT that should be paid into government revenue. Director Tarosa said that by the end of this year, all targeted businesses in Sheva province are expected to be fully integrated into the system. The government plans to expand this initiative to other provinces next year. The official signing of the Memorandum of Understanding, or MOU, between the government and the United Nations Development Program, or UNDP, for the $25 million for Malekula Climate Resilient Road Infrastructure Project took place on Tuesday this week. In his remarks, the UNDP Deputy Resident Representative said the project marks a major step forward in strengthening road infrastructure in Malekula against the impacts of climate change, while supporting reliable and sustainable transportation for local communities.
This is remarkable. This is first of its kind for us in Vanuatu. And I'll be open and say that we don't have all the solutions, but we will work together to find the best solutions that fit the context here in Vanuatu. We worked very hard together on our islands, so Malekula is also going to be a new chapter in our relationship. Today we'll start with just the beginning of Memorandum of Understanding. We do hope to also sign financing agreements shortly after and get the work going already this year. But I understand the financing will be made available next year.
The project will help communities on Malekula gain easier and safer access to schools, health centers, markets, and other essential services. It is expected to promote business, agriculture, and tourism, strengthen the local economy, and build a road network that can withstand the impacts of climate change.
So, perhaps one value added that UNDP could bring to this initiative is to look at it not just as an infrastructure program, but we look at it as a development program, as a whole of island development initiative. And upon signature of this memorandum of understanding from our side, we will also be engaging other partners, donors, financiers, to see if we can put up a platform where other partners can come in with financing, with their ideas. And there is a loan component of the program that we discussed. So that's where we will need a much broader partnership to come in. The needs in Malekula, I understand, are far beyond the financing arrangements that we will have. So we will have to work very closely together to find that financing package.
The signing of the MOU demonstrates the strong partnership between the government of Vanuatu and the United Nations Development Program, or UNDP, in supporting efforts to build a more resilient and sustainable future for the people of Malekula. The Kiwa Pacific Segol Pacific Community Inclusion for Resilient Climate and Ecosystems project has been launched in Port Vila. The project aims to support women, youth and people with disabilities in Vanuatu, Fiji, Tonga and Kiribati to lead nature-based solutions that will help their communities adapt to climate change. In an interview with VBTC News, the program manager of the Pacific Cycle project, Dr. Krisios, said that Fiji, Kiribati, Tonga and Vanuatu are island nations facing significant impacts from climate change, including rising sea levels, warming ocean temperatures, and increasingly severe natural disasters that are affecting ecosystems and livelihoods. He said the project is designed to strengthen ecosystems, agriculture and livelihoods.
And this project is the first of its kind to include women as well as young people and persons with disability in implementing nature-based solutions against climate change in the Pacific Islands. So we will be working in 4 islands, including Vanuatu, and Vanuatu, Fiji, in Tonga and Kiribati. So we will be bringing communities together to identify the issues that they face because of climate change and to resolve these issues through nature-based, what is called nature-based solutions. It's essentially environmental restoration, but also environmental restoration that has benefits for the society.
VBTC News also spoke with the Deputy Head of Programs at ActionAid Australia, Mrs. Carol Angi, who said the ActionAid Vanuatu is one of the project's partners and will work on 3 islands, Malekula, Eromango and Tana. She said they will implement nature-based solutions to ensure communities work together to protect and restore ecosystems across the Pacific.
Now, across these 3 islands, we hope that this project will reach out to approximately 6,000 of these women. And the women will work together with their communities to implement nature-based solutions that looks at the ecosystem, agroecology, food security, and also issues that contribute to preventing violence against women, and that they will be able to recognize the women's leadership in agency, and that women will work together to be able to establish what works for them, what they want to learn.
The Kiwa Pacific Circle project will support stronger ecosystems and more resilient communities through activities such as mangrove planting and support for agriculture and fisheries. Action Aid Australia and the Global Network of Civil Society Organization for Disaster Reduction will jointly lead the project in partnership with 5 Pacific Organization. In international news, the UN is looking for new Secretary General. Antonio Guterres' 10-year term will end on December 31st. 6 candidates who are looking to replace him will take part in a debate at UN headquarters this week. Al Jazeera's Gabriel Elizondo explains who they are.
Who will replace Antonio Guterres as the next Secretary General of the United Nations? There are currently 6 candidates. All are experienced diplomats in their own right. The first candidate who entered the race was Rafael Grossi, currently the head of the International Atomic Energy Agency. Grossi is a longtime diplomat from Argentina. Michelle Bachelet is the former president of Chile. She was founding executive director of UN Women and until 2022, the UN High Commissioner for Human Rights. Macky Sall is the only candidate from Africa in the race. Up until 2024, he was the president of Senegal. Rebecca Greenspan has taken a leave of absence as Secretary General of the Geneva-based UN Trade and Development Body to run for the UN's top job. She's a trained economist from Costa Rica. Maria Fernanda Espinosa has held various high government positions in her native Ecuador and was the president of the UN General Assembly in 2018 and 2019. Carolyn Rodriguez Burkett is currently Guyana's permanent representative to the UN. At 52 years old, she is the youngest of all candidates in the race. Now you might be asking yourself, why are there so many candidates from Latin America and the Caribbean? The answer is because the job of Secretary General unofficially rotates by region, and it's currently Latin America and the Caribbean's turn. Now when will we know who the next Secretary General is? The process is ongoing and it's complex, but it could be as early as September or as late as December. Gabriel Elizondo, Al Jazeera at the United Nations in New York.
In sports, the new Tojo, or training hall for the Vanuatu Joto or Judo Federation, was officially opened last weekend. The new facility named Tojo Tetriu will serve as the new training home for Vanuatu's judokas. It was funded through the support of embassies of Japan and France. Anita Joe has more.
The opening marks a major milestone for the Vanuatu Judo Federation this year, after the federation was forced to leave its former training venue at Exeforwell following the 2024 earthquake. This year, the federation's dream became a reality. For the past year and a half, it had been operating from a small house in Pango, which was far from ideal, but the federation managed to continue its training sessions and activities there. Through the partnership and support of the French Embassy and the Embassy of Japan in Port Vila, the Federation now has a permanent new training facility. During the opening ceremony, Vanuatu Judo Federation President Nicholas delivered brief remarks on behalf of the Federation.
I'm the second generation judoka here. We're having our third generation judokas. And for the first time ever in our history, we're able to have proper facilities. And for that, I really want to thank everybody that's come inside and helped us.
Japanese Ambassador His Excellency Okuta Naoisha highlighted the support that Japan has provided to the Federation.
Part of Japan's official development assistance, it supports cultural activities, sports, higher education and related facilities in developing countries. Since its establishment in 1975, the program has supported projects around the world, including Japanese language education, Japan studies at universities, and the promotion of sports like this.
French Ambassador Jean-Baptiste Vilma also delivered opening remarks during the ceremony.
The dojo is now yours. It will provide a safe, modern, resilient and environmentally sustainable place in which to train, learn and progress. This project also reflects the partnership between Japan, the birthplace of judo, France, which has become its other great home, and Vanuatu, whose judokas represent their country with pride.
Thanks to the partnership and support of the two embassies, the building has become a reality. While the government of Japan and France supported the project, the French government specifically funded the building's complete solar power system. Vasanok President Antoine Poudier reminded the athletes to respect and take good care of the new facility.
We are not simply opening a sporting facility. We are opening a place of discipline, respect, perseverance, and opportunity. A place where young people can develop not only as an athlete, but also as responsible, resilient, and confident members of our society.
The two ambassadors, the Vasanok President and the Federation President, officially cut a ribbon to open the new dojo. Following the ribbon-cutting ceremony, the two ambassadors participated in a judo demonstration before the Federation judokas showcased their own skills and techniques. After the official opening, training sessions and other Federation activities resumed at the new dojo this week. Anita Cho, VBTC Sports.
And with sports news, it brings us to the end of today's English news with me, Lodian Welin, wishing you all a pleasant weekend.